Hello lovely beaders. Welcome back to my channel. While I was beading last week's flower pendant, I realized something fun. Two of its petals look just like butterfly wings. So, of course I had to test the idea and it worked perfectly. Today let's bead these butterfly earrings together. This butterfly pattern is built on the teardrop shape from my last two tutorials. If you already know how to make it, you can skip ahead to the assembly part. For everyone else, here is a quick recap on how to bead both teardrops. I will show you the pattern for the bigger teardrop shape. Start by stringing 28 size 15 seed beads. This starting bead count is the only difference from the normal size teardrop. The rest of the steps will be exactly the same. Go through the beads again to form a circle with them. To complete the circle, I go through the first bead again. Start a peyote row with size 15 seed beads. We will use the tubular peyote technique. When you exit from the first bead, string another bead, go through the third bead and skip the second one. The new bead will sit on top of the second bead. Repeat around. This row is just a simple peyote stitch row, but in the next row we will add a corner. We will replace one of the peyote stitches with a corner made in herringbone stitch. At the end of the row you need to step up to start a new row. To do the step up, you need to go through the last bead from your starting circle and the first bead strung in the new row. You can put away your size 15 seed beads. For this teardrop we will not need them anymore. To create the teardrop shape we need to make a corner. To start forming the corner, you need to bead 2 delica beads together into the first gap. String only 1 delica bead in every spot on the rest of this row. If we could make this first row more tight, our starting circle would form a small tube. Instead it looks more like a little sun shape with spikes. For this reason the first side will always be a little looser than the second side. For the step up, go through the last seed bead and the first delica bead from the corner. So exit from between the corner beads. Start the new row by stringing the corner of the teardrop. So string 2 delicas and go through the second delica from the corner beads. And string only 1 delica bead in every other gap for the rest of this row. The teardrop shape is formed because we add a corner to a circular beadwork. And we will be able to zip the 2 sides together because we are using different sizes of beads. We started with size 15 seed beads. Now we use size 11 delica beads, and the next row we will use size 11 seed beads. Don't forget to step up for the next row. Start a row with size 11 seed beads. The beading process is exactly the same as the previous 2 rows. So string 2 size 11 seed beads on the corner and 1 seed bead on every other spot. You might be wondering why I treat size 11 delica beads and size 11 seed beads as 2 different sizes. They are simply not the same type of beads. A size 11 seed bead is a tiny bit wider and larger than a delica bead. Don't forget to step up for the next row. This will be the last row for this side. String 1 size 11 seed bead on the corner and on every other spot as well. This last row is our zipper row. We will use it to connect both sides together. Because of this, you only bead this row 1 time. The second side will have only 3 rows. 2 delica rows and a seed bead row. This side is now finished. We need to go over to the other side to bead those rows as well. It is important to exit from the size 15 seed bead where we will start beading the corner for the second side. Go down through all the second corner beads towards your first row. When you reach the row of size 15 seed beads, turn over to the first row on the other side. This way you will exit from the exact bead where you need to start the corner. Start the second side by stringing 2 delica beads to make the corner. Then string 1 delica on every other spot. This first row is always a bit tighter, so you might have to struggle to get the delica beads to snap into place. Pull your thread, because if this row sits neatly, the next one will be much easier to bead. If you feel that the thin needle is too difficult to work with, you can switch to a larger one after this row. A needle thicker than size 12 won't pass through the size 15 seed beads, but a size 10 needle works perfectly with the delica beads. I didn't want to waste time switching my needle right now, but I had to do it later. The thin needles bend very easily when they meet resistance. Don't forget to step up for the next row. This row has secured the starting row, and with that the tail of the thread. You can safely cut this tail. Make the second delica row. String 2 beads on the corner and 1 bead on every other spot. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Your support helps me keep creating free content. Every like, comment, and share makes a difference. Want to do more? You can check out my tutorials and jewelry. Links are in the description. Thank you so much for helping me keep this channel going. Don't forget to step up for the next row. You need to fold the first side over to the second side so the last row of the first side can sit on the center line of the beadwork. In this row, switch the delica beads to size 11 seed beads. But make the row the same: 2 beads on the corner and 1 bead on every other spot. I wanted to give you a quick heads up about my next few videos. They will be a little simpler than the projects I've shown you recently. As I've mentioned before, we are in the process of moving. We have sold our home and there is so much work to do with packing and paperwork. So, I won't have as much time for creating complex videos, but I don't want to leave you without new projects. I will be bringing you some very quick and simple tutorials instead. I hope you will enjoy these little projects too. Don't forget to step up for the last row. The last row is the row where we zip together the 2 sides. So you are exiting from the first bead of your corner. Go through the single bead from the corner from the other side. Then come back to the second bead from this corner. Go through the first bead after the corner on the first side. And then go through the first bead after the corner on the other side. Continue this zipping method all the way around to completely zip up the 2 sides. And about the simpler projects I mentioned earlier, one of my next tutorials will be a traditional collar-style folk necklace. It's not my own design. I was recently asked to make a few of these traditional jewelry pieces for a client, so I thought it would be a great opportunity to share how to bead one of them with you all. The bigger teardrop shape is now complete. We just need to finish the thread. I won't show the full process of finishing the thread, but the rule for peyote is simple. Just weave your thread back and forth through the rows. Make at least 3 turns to secure the thread tightly. I will not be showing a detailed tutorial for the normal size teardrop again. You have already seen how to make it in the previous videos. However, you can still use the pattern for the larger teardrop that I just showed you. The only difference is that your starting circle should have 22 beads, not 28. So, go ahead and make a normal size teardrop. I made mine off camera. I did not finish off my thread because I will use this thread to connect the wings and to make the loop part. First, we will connect the two wings together. The connection method is exactly the same as with the flower pendant. You will add 2 more seed beads to the side of the teardrop. String the 2 new beads between the beads of your first seed bead row from the teardrop shape. Make the turn with a third bead and go through the corresponding bead on the other teardrop. Then you just need to zip up the 2 teardrop shapes. The 2 wings are now connected. As you can see, they have a slight curve and don't lie completely flat, just like the petals on the flower pendant. We need to create the beaded loop between the tips of the 2 wings. To do this, we need to get our thread into the correct position. I need to make turns to get my needle into the right spot. That wasn't so difficult, was it? We just had to pass through a few beads and make the turn. String a size 11 seed bead and go through the corner bead from the other wing. And now we start a 2-bead wide peyote strip. String another seed bead and go through the bead that you just added between the 2 corners. String another seed bead and go through the last seed bead added. And continue until you have extra 4 seed beads on each side of the strip. I have the 4 extra seed beads on both sides. This count does not include the original corner bead or the connecting bead between them. It only includes the extra beads I strung to make the strip. To make a loop with this strip, I will simply zip the 2 ends together. I go through the corner bead and then back into the strip. I turn and go through the bead that was added between the corners. I will make some extra turns to secure the connection. Try to pass your thread without creating new visible thread paths. Always use the same paths that you created when beading the rows. And yes, I probably should switch my needle. This poor thing is not having a good time. We need to add 1 final bead to the larger wing. This single bead will serve as the loop for our ear wire. To do this, lead your thread to the correct position. The 6th bead in the middle row, counting from the corner bead. This can be a little difficult because the beads in the teardrop has a lot of thread passing through them. I need to find the ideal path for my needle so I don't break it. In the end, I end up switching my thin needle to a slightly thicker one that doesn't bend as much. Now I am in the right position to add the extra bead. I use a size 8 seed bead for this. It has a bigger hole and I can thread a jump ring through this bead. Pick up the size 8 seed bead and go through the next bead from the middle row of the teardrop. To secure this bead, simply go back through other beads until you can exit from the size 8 seed bead again. And for the last step, we just need to weave in the thread. Almost finished. The main beading part is complete. Now we just need to add the butterfly's body and the ear wire. For the body part you will need a head pin, 3 size 8 seed beads and a 4 mm round bead. First, cut the head pin to be about 25 mm long. Then string the size 8 seed beads on the head pin. Go through the beaded loop and add the 4 mm round bead. Now make a loop on the head pin. To finish the earring you need a jump ring and an earring hook. Open the jump ring, thread it through the seed bead added on the bigger wing and put the earring hook on it. And you have a butterfly earring. Just make another and you're good to go. And now you have a whole matching set. You have the beautiful flower pendant with its matching butterfly earrings. Or if you prefer something simpler, you can always wear it with the exclamation mark earrings that I showed you 2 videos ago. Which combination do you like the best? And that's the end of today's video. If you watched it and liked it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for spending time with me. See you next week.